Hi guys, I'm Megan, and welcome back to another episode of There I Read It, where I'm reading the Harry Potter books chapter by chapter for the first time ever in my life. And today we are on the chapter of the Goblet of Fire called Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, which was so hard for me to say. That is chapter 5, by the way. And it's taking place immediately after Harry has gone through the flu powder to get to the burrow, after seeing Dudley's tongue just freak out growing huge, and Petunia and Vernon are just losing their minds at Arthur Weasley, who's trying to help. Oddly a satisfyingly fun chapter, but chapter 5 ain't too bad either. We find out that before Fred left Harry's house, he conveniently left behind something called Tun Tung Toffee, because he knew that Dudley was on a diet and he was going to find that candy and pork it down. And Tun Tung Toffee is something that Fred and George invented themselves, which is kind of cool. So Fred's like, did he eat it? What happened? Was it amazing? We've been searching all summer for somebody to test that for us. And then Harry notices two other new redheads that he's not familiar with, but he automatically assumes that they're Bill and Charlie Weasley, the eldest of the Weasley children. And Harry knows who's who right away because Charlie works with dragons in Romania, so his hands are really rough. And then Bill is pretty cool looking, or at least Harry thinks so. And Bill used to be the former head boy at Hogwarts, and now he works at Gringotts Bank, and he wears these dragon hide boots. I wonder if Charlie sent those. But as soon as Harry gets the introductions out of the way, Arthur comes through the flu, and he is just furious. Apparently, Dudley's tongue got to 4 feet long before the Dursleys would let Arthur help them. Which I'm so upset that that's not in the movie, or at least it's not to my recollection, because that seems like a fantastically fun scene to watch. And the twins, Fred and George, have apparently been inventing dangerous items to sell for years now. And they had all of these order forms made up, and they were just, ready to make money at Hogwarts. They called their items Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, which is so hard for me to say. Let's just say WWW in the future. But Molly found the order forms, their mother, and she is just so mad at them. You see, when the twins graduate from Hogwarts, they want to open up a joke shop and not work at the ministry like their father does, which is what their mother wants them to do. And hey, come on, Fred and George got low owls, which I didn't know those really came in a score. I just kind of figured they were, you have to pass at least at this level. But apparently their owls scores are really low, so Molly's not happy about that, but that also means that the boys don't have a ton of other prospects. At least not anything that would require academia. You see, in the United States, if you're not a super genius going to college, then you're considered a dummy that's never going to make any money. When instead, I'm saddled with 50,000 grand in student loan debt until the day I die, which over 60% of that total is from interest. Please watch and share these videos more. Meanwhile, the kids in my class that went to a vocational school have actual careers, no debt, making great money, and I'm just here like, who's the dummy mom? You said I couldn't go to Votech because that's for the dumb kids. Now, what's going on? My life sucks. I has no consistent income. I has no prospects. I just ramble on the internet for change. Again, please share. Doesn't have to be to friends or family. Put me on Reddit. Put me in your Discord groups. I don't care. Just share, please. Kidding, not kidding. Anyways, back to the actual chapter. Percy is still living in this extremely crowded home, but he is working for the ministry. And Fred and George are now bunking in Ron's room with Harry because Bill and Charlie are home, so that kind of displaced everybody. Although I do wonder now, when there were 7 kids in the house at once, did they not make more rooms at this point? I mean, did they build rooms and then take them away when they didn't need them anymore, since it's a weird magic makeshift house? Or were they all just really that crowded and living on top of each other? I'm curious, but I have no idea how to even find an answer for something like that. Anywho, then we find out that Ron's new owl, Pig, is actually fully named Pigwidgeon, which is a name that Jenny came up with. And Crookshanks is actually at Ron's house, and Crookshanks is out in the garden going after the gnomes. So that's interesting that Ron has kind of made up with Hermione's cat, and they're on good terms there after everything from the third book. And I guess that makes sense, since Scabbers was not who everybody thought he was. And you know, the cat wasn't going after that rat for no reason. It was a very specific hunt. But still, I would kind of expect Ron to be like, oh, that stupid cat, and have negative feelings about the cat forever. But good on Ron if he can get over it. Although boys always do, don't they? They'll break your heart and then be over it in 10 seconds. Like, why are you still mad? I only called you horrible names for 6 hours. But while Molly is cooking in the kitchen, she ends up grabbing one of Fred and George's fake wands. And that actually made me curious because in the movies, at least in later movies, everybody's wand is very specific and individualized, and they would be pretty hard to mix up. You know, especially if you're looking at something like Harry's wand versus Hermione's wand versus Luna Lovegood's wand. They are so distinct. I don't see very many people having something that similar that you would confuse them. So for Fred and George to be able to make and sell convincing fakes, even if they're joke toys, that would mean that they would have to be passable as that wizard's wand. So I'm assuming that that means, at least in the book universe, all the wands look relatively the same and they're not very specialized. I mean, maybe they are internally with what makes them magical, but not in the way they outwardly look. So now everybody's out in the garden, they're all gonna eat dinner, and it is mentioned that Percy's boss is Mr. Couch, and he runs the Department of International Magical Cooperation. I don't know why there's a hyphen between co and operation. We just say it like cooperation in the United States, but maybe that's different. I don't know. I don't know everything in the world. And Percy's carrying on how Mr. Couch is so phenomenal, and the person who is over the Department of Magical Games and Sports, his name is Ludo Bagman, that he's just kind of this awful, recluse bum, and he lost one of his employees named Bertha Jenkins, who is a woman that went on vacation in Albania and then hasn't returned for a month. Which, that is the person that was mentioned in the first chapter that Voldemort got a hold of because of something that Peter Pettigrew did. Or at least I assume that that was Peter Pettigrew. I don't know who else it could have possibly been. Plus, Voldemort kept calling him Wormtail, which was Pettigrew's nickname. So I'm 99.9% sure that that is Peter Pettigrew from the first chapter. Shoot, it could have even said that directly, and my brain just blanks it out over time. There is so much going on in these books, it's hard to keep things straight. That's why I take notes. And the last note I have is that Molly apparently is not going to go to the big Quidditch game. So Molly's told Harry to leave his school supply list, and she's going to go to Diagon Alley and do the shopping for Harry and everybody else. Which was also something that made me curious, because the Weasleys are very financially not fluid, and school supplies, as we saw in the last book, are very expensive for them. So I'm wondering how that money is going to get back into the Weasley bank account, because they're going to need it. And you know, she doesn't ask Harry for money, and I assume she's going to get the stuff for Hermione too, so that's 2 kids who aren't hers that she's going to spend a small fortune on for books and everything else. But the Weasleys are also supposed to be a very proud family, so if she doesn't collect the money up front, is she going to collect the money at all? I'm a little bit curious about that. It's not really an important detail. They probably won't even mention it again in this book, but it did catch my eye, so I thought I would bring it up as a discussion-ish point. Anyways, this was a pretty short chapter, so I think that's a good stopping place for now. I always love going to the Burrows and seeing the Weasley family, and they just make my heart so happy. But we'll see what's next. I don't remember this movie very well. I remember liking this movie more than all of the other movies, but that was because it seemed to be very, like, fast-paced and not wasting time. Like, I felt it's so funny, like, I remember being being younger, seeing these movies in the theaters and just going like, these are dragging on forever. And now that I've read the books and I've got this little checklist in my head for what happens when you watch the movie, it's like, slow down, you're going too fast, you're just trudging over all this other stuff and not covering the other things. So yeah, it's very interesting how these perspectives flip around and change when you read the books and when you get older. But I'm wasting time at this point. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you so much. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share. And we will see you next time, Fanily members. Bye! Well, Fanily members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that? Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Fanily. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Fanily and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, Fanily members. Bye.